हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे हरे हरे
जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव सदी गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव सदी गौर भक्त वृंदा। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधो जगतपते, गोपेश गोपी कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदानेश्वरी, वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। तो श्री राधे गोलोकानंद भगवान की जय।
जय।
हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा everybody.
हरे कृष्णा everyone. Right. So, hello Soham. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna Soham.
Hare Krishna.
Cool. So we will. Yesterday we paused at Shlok 38. Yeah. And just to revise that, in Shlok 38, what Lord Brahma is saying is, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah. Tasme Bhagavate Namah, whose incarnations and activities are chanted by us for glorification, though he can hardly be fully known as he is. So we can't really know him, he is so vast, right? जो अपन पढ़ रहे थे अभी पिछले कुछ श्लोकों में. लेकिन how do we know him? We hear his incarnations, right? His avatars, his activities, and we chant his glories. And you know, this Bhagavad Shlok is what we were reading. Actually, we can go to the Bhagavad Gita Shlok. This was the one, right, where Tachadadhana Munyo Gyan Vairagya Yuktaya Pasyamtyatmani Chatmanam Bhaktya Shut Grihitaya. Means the seriously inquisitive student or sage, well equipped with knowledge and detachment, realizes that absolute truth by rendering devotional service in terms of what he has heard from the Vedanta Shruti. So what this is saying is, whatever we hear from Vedanta Shruti or by reading scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam, then what we do is we realize the absolute truth. How? By rendering the devotional service. And how do we render the devotional service? There are so many ways, but the most important is Shravanam, Kirtanam, yeah, chanting, and so there are like 9 or 10 ways it has been mentioned in Bhagavad Gita also. Okay, so we'll go to the next shlok, 39. Anilji.
जी सएष आद्या पुरुषः कल्पे कल्पे सृजत्यजः आत्मात्मन्यात्मनात्मानं ससंयच्छति पाति च. That supreme original personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, expanding his plenary portions as Mahavishnu, the first incarnation, creates this manifested cosmos, but he is unborn. The creation, however, takes place in him, and the material substance and manifestations are all himself. He maintains them for some time and absorbs them into himself again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, right? So we have read this Ash Adhya Purusya, right? He is, so he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, expanding his plenary portion as Mahavishnu, right? And it says that Kalpe Kalpe Srijatya Ajah hai. So Kalpe Kalpe से this, no, like बार बार सृष्टि की रचना होती है, but he's Ajay hai. Ajay hai is like he's unborn. Okay. And again, it's a very nice purport. And from the Brahma Samhita, let's, Sam, would you read from here?
Lord Brahmaji says in his Parama Samhita, I worship the primeval Lord Govinda, who lies down in the casual ocean in his plenary portion as Mahavishnu, with all the universes generating from the pores of air on his transcendental body, and who accepts the mystique slumber of eternity. So this Mahavishnu is the first carnation in the creation, and from him all the universes are generated, and all material manifestations are produced one after another. The casual ocean is created by the Lord as a Mahat Tattva, as a cloud in the spiritual sky, and is only a part of his different manifestations. The spiritual sky is an expansion of his personal rays, and he is the Mahat Tattva also. He lies down and generates the universes by his breathing, and again by entering into each universe as Khadpohatakasaya. See, He creates Brahma, Shiva, and many other demigods for maintenance. The universe again and absorbs the whole thing into his person, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9.7. Sarva Bhutani Kanteya Pakritam Yanti Mamikam Kalpaksay Punastani Kalpadau Vishtami Aham. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. And basically, O son of Kunti, when the kalp or the duration of the life of Brahma is ended, then all the created manifestations enter into my Prakriti or energy. And again, when I desire, the same creation takes place by my personal energy. Yeah. So basically, this describes, how the whole thing takes place. Um, Ajay?
विशुद्धम केवलम ज्ञानम प्रत्यक सम्यग वस्थितम सत्य पूर्णमनाद्यंतम निर्गुणाम नित्य मद्वयम ऋषे विदन्ति मुनयः प्रशांता मेन्द्रियाश्रयः यदा तद्वेषा सत्तकै स्त्री धीयेतु विलुप्तम. The personality of Godhead is pure, being free from all contamination of material tinges. He is the absolute truth and the embodiment of full and perfect knowledge. He is all pervading without beginning or end and without rivals. O Narad, O great sage, the great thinkers can know him when they completely freed from all the material hankerings and when sheltered under undisturbed condition of the senses. Otherwise, by untenable arguments, and the Lord disappears from our sight. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. So a lot being said here, right? Like first describing the Lord Krishna himself, he's Vishuddham, Kevalam, Jnanam, right? He's Satyam, he's Purna, he's Anadhi, right? He's Anantam, Nirgunam, Nityam Advayam. And then after describing Lord Shri Krishna, it says that Rishe Vidanti Muniya hai, Prashant Atme Indriya Shaya hai, like the Muniya hai, like the Rishi Munis, right? The Bade Munis, right? By Indriya Ashya hai, like surrendering the Indriyas, that's how they have been able to get into the prashant, like basically getting freed from all the material hankerings. Yeah, that's how they have come to know him. So how do you know him? By completely freeing from all material hankerings and sheltered under undisturbed conditions of senses. That's how the great munis have been able to know him. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Rasikshan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
And again, like huge, big purport. But I think the certain, the last paragraph, right? Here is like, let's read from here. Soham, can you read this much?
Only the prasantas or the unallowed devotees of the Lord can know him to a great extent. The reason is that the devotees have no demands in their lives but to be obedient servants of the Lord, while all others, namely the empiric philosophers, the mystics, and the fruitive workers, all basically have some demand, and as such, they cannot be pacified. The fruitive workers wants reward for his work. The mystique wants some perfection of life, and the empiric philosopher wants to merge in the existence of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So what this paragraph is saying is that only the prashants is the or the who are like basically the unalloyed devotees of the Lord. They can know him to a greater extent. Yeah. Only the devotees. And why is that? Because they have no demands in their lives, but to be the obedient servants of the Lord. Just surrender unto the Lord and do the devotional service. That's how they are able to know him. But everybody else, right? Like even the mystic yogis and all these workers, they have some demand, right? And what it says, even the fruitive workers wants reward for his work, right? Like if we want to do anything, we want some reward. If we want to do some good things, we still want some reward for that. Yeah. But only the devotees, they don't want anything, and that's how they are able to know him. And let's continue reading this, Tarun. Will you read this?
Somehow or the other, as long as there's demand for sense satisfaction, there's no chance for pacification. On the contrary, by unnecessary dry speculative argument, the whole matter becomes distorted. And thus the Lord moves still further away from our understanding. The dry speculators, however, because of their following the principles of austerity and penance, can have knowledge of the impersonal features of the Lord to some extent. There's no chance of their understanding his ultimate form as Govinda, because only the Amalatmanas or the completely sinless persons can accept pure devotional service to the Lord as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Actually, and we can see the shlok of Bhagavad Gita 7.28, right? It says, Yesham tvan gatam papam jananam punya karmanan te dvand moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridvrita hai. So persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, are freed from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. Yeah. So it is not easy to get engaged in the service of Lord Sri Krishna, of the Supreme Lord, right? And this is what Lord Sri Krishna himself is saying. This is from Bhagavad Gita, right? Chapter 7. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life also, whose sinful reactions are completely eradicated, are freed from the duality of delusion. They only can engage in the devotional service. So as we can see, it's not very easy to get engaged in the devotional service. Sachin?
आद्यो अवतार पुरुषः परस्य कालः स्वभावः सदसन्मानश्च द्रव्यं विकारो गुण इन्द्रियाणि विराट स्वराट स्थास्नु चिरिष्णु भूम्न करण्य Karanyaranavasaya. Vishnu is the first incarnation of Supreme Lord, and he is the master of eternal time, space, cause, and effects, mind, the elements, the material ego, the modes of nature, the senses, the universal form of the Lord, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and sum total of all living beings, both moving and non-moving. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, right? So Lord Brahma is describing Kano, like we have read this, right? Kano Vakshay Vishnu, and then Garbhodakshay Vishnu, right? And then Kshirodakshay Vishnu, if you remember, right? So that's what Lord Brahma is saying, that he is the first avatar. Adhya avatar hai, Purusha hai, Parasya is the Kano Akshay Vishnu, yeah? And then everything else, like even the Garbhodakshay Vishnu and material ego and everything else is then generated from there, right? So he's the master of everything, eternal time, Kal, Swabhav, everything, yeah? Nisha?
अहं भवो यज्ञ इमे प्रजेशा दक्षादयो ये भवदायश्च स्वर्लोकपालाः खगलोकपाला नृलोकपालास्तललोकपालाः गन्धर्वविद्याधरचारणेशा ये यक्षरक्षोरगनागनाथा ये वा ऋषीणा वृषभा पितॄणां दैत्येन्द्रसिद्धेश्वरदानवेन्द्राः अन्ये च ये प्रेतपिशाचभूत कुष्माण्डयो दो मृगपक्षधीशाः अन्किच लोके भगवन्महस्वः दोजसहस्वद्बलवत् क्षमावत् श्रीं विभूत्यात्मवद्दुत्तारण तत्वं परम रूप वद स्वरूपम. I myself Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, great generators of living beings like Daksha and Prajapati, yourselves Narad and the Kumaras, heavenly demigods like Indra and Chandra or Kandra, the leaders of the Bhuloka planets and the leaders of the earthly planets, the leaders of the lower planets and the leaders of the Gandharva planets, the leaders of the Vidyadhar planets and the leaders of Karnaloka planets and the leaders of the Yakshas, Rakshas and Ragas, the great sages, the great demons, the great atheists and the great spacemen, as well as the dead bodies, evil spirits, Santans, jinns, Kusmans, great aquatics, great hest and great birds, etc. In other words, anything and everything which is exceptionally possessed of power, opulence, mental and perceptual dexterity, strength, forgiveness, beauty, modesty, opulence, and breeding, whether in form or formless, may appear to be the specific truth and the form of the Lord, but actually they are not so. They are only a fragment of the transcendental potential of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, right? So in summary, what Lord Brahma himself is saying, that is starting from I myself and Lord Shiva, right? Aham is Brahma, Lord Brahma, Bhava is Lord Shiva. To all these things which are described in this shlok, right, as mentioned here, right, may appear, because they are so powerful, they may appear to be the specific truth and the form of the Lord. right? But they are essentially only a fragment of the transcendental potency of the Lord, is what Lord Brahma is telling this to Dev Rishi Narad. Rasik Sham Prabhuji, पढ़ेंगे?
ध्यानतो यनिर्षः आमनन्ति हि लीलावत् अवतार पुरुषस्य भूम्नः अपीयतां कर्णकषाय शेषा अनुक्रमिष्यते त इमां सुकेशान्. O Narad, now I shall state, one after another, the transcendental incarnation of the Lord, known as Leela Avtaras, hearing of their activities, counteracts all foul matters accumulated in the ear. These pastimes are pleasing to hear and are to be relished. Therefore, they are in my heart.
Hare Krishna. So Lord Brahma is now saying, after he described how this world has been created, yeah, and who is Supreme Lord Sri Krishna and how everything is depending on him. Now he's saying that we will talk about the transcendental incarnations of the Lord Krishna, known as Leela avatars, right? All the avatars, which we saw earlier. And what happens if you are doing that? Hearing of their activities counteracts all foul matters accumulated in the ear. Yeah. Api yatam kan kashaya shosha. And then this Lord Brahma is saying, therefore they are in my heart. In fact, also we read in the previous shlok that because I have Lord Sri Krishna in my heart, I always speak truth and I am so powerful and so on and so forth, right? We just read it, I think, yesterday in one of the shloks. And I think we'll just read this much, Soham.
The devotees of the Lord, however, know well how the creative forces work concurrently by the action of and reaction of the material energy of the Lord. Therefore, they take more interest in the transcendental activities of the Lord as he incarnates himself on the surface of the material world. Srimad Bhagavatam is a history of such activities of the Lord, and people who take interest in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam clear their hearts of accumulated mundane filth. There are 1001 rash literatures on the market, but one who has taken interest in the Srimad Bhagavatam loses all interest in such filthy literatures. Sri Brahmaji is thus attempting to narrate the principal incarnations of the Lord so that they may be joined by Narada and Shantidandu Nectar. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, right? So what he's saying is, first, of course, we all know Srimad Bhagavatam is the history of the activities of the Lord, and people who are interested in hearing clear their hearts of the accumulated mundane filth, right? All the material filth. Okay, and that is what Sri Brahmaji is now going to tell. He's thus attempting to narrate the principal incarnations of the Lord. And thus this ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport of the second canto, 6th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Purush Shukta Confirmed. Like the Purush Swarup of Lord Sri Krishna is confirmed in this chapter by Lord Brahma. So Bolo Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.
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 So we completed chapter 6. I think we'll pause here. I think we have a few minutes. शिक्षाम प्रभु जी, आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगे?
खाली इतना, ये पुरुष सूक्त जो है ना, पुरुष सूक्त वो वही स्तुति है जब देवतागण इंक्लूडिंग लॉर्ड ब्रह्मा, लॉर्ड शिवा, ये सब लोग जब क्षीर सागर में जाते हैं ना, ये पुरुष सूक्त का ही पाठ करते हैं और शुरू ही होता है सहस्त्र शीर्षः पुरुषः। वो पुरुष हैं जिनको एक सहस्त्र सर है, ऐसे शुरू होता है और यही स्तुति वो लोग गाते हैं तो भगवान विष्णु क्षीर सागर में अपीयर होते हैं, तब उनको दर्शन होता है। तो उसी को वो कंफर्म कर रहे हैं यहाँ पर वर्मा जी।
I see. Nice. Thank you, Prabhuji. So I hope there's so much knowledge as we are gaining, as we are reading chapter by chapter. And now we'll do what is being told by Lord Brahma is to do the kirtan and chanting. So we'll do this kirtan and then we'll see you all tomorrow, Thursday. We'll start the Adhyay 7th. Okay, Hare Krishna. Any comments? Anyone else? Questions? Okay, so we'll hear the kirtan.